Peace. What's up, y'all? It's your guy Libs back with another video. Today we're going to talk about how to build a small emergency fund even if you don't make much. Now I'm going to put this out here right in the beginning. This is my disclaimer. I am not wealthy. I am not rich. Hell, I'm not even well off. You know what I'm saying? But today I'm going to show you how to build a small emergency fund even if you don't make much. Now, who am I? I'm just, in the words of Styles P, I'm just a small-time cat with $1 million fetish. That's what I am. I'm 49 years old. I came from the struggle. I've been around the corner. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the trenches. I've been kicked out a lot. Man, I could write a book on the things I've been through. And my biggest fear is to go back to where I came from. I'm very thankful for where I am today, and that's my biggest fear. I don't want to go back to the struggle of where I came from. I'm embracing the struggle that I'm in right now because it's so much better than the one that I came from. And enough about me. Today, this small-time cat is going to tell you at least how I did it. How to build a small emergency fund even if you don't make much. The first thing you got to do is you got to understand that pennies make dollars. 4 quarters equal $1. 100 pennies equal $1. 20 nickels equal $1. 10 dimes equal $1. So as soon as you understand that, then you won't look at a small amount of money as crumbs. See, the way I came up understanding that a half loaf of bread is better than no bread at all. And with that mindset, that's how you build. That's how you get more. That's how you stay appreciative of what you have. And as long as you're appreciative of what you have, it enables a window of opportunity for you to get more. Now let's get into it, because it's not about me. Now this is how I was able to build a small emergency fund even though I don't make much money. All right, I call it a secret savings. A secret. And here's why I call it a secret savings. Step 1, you go to your bank or you go to your credit union, right? Normally, most working people, when they go to the credit union or they go to the bank, they go in there to deposit their check or to cash a check or just to pull money out or deposit money. But this time, when you take a trip to your bank or your credit union, you're going to ask to speak to a banker, okay? And you don't need a loan. The banker's going to think that you want a loan. You're going to go sit down with the banker and you're going to tell the banker that I want to open up another savings account. And the banker is probably going to say, well, you have your checking and you have your savings, like most people, right? But this one is a secret savings. See, you don't have to tell the banker that it's a secret savings either. You just got to tell him or her that you want to open up another savings account, an additional savings account. But here's what makes it a secret, right? You're going to tell the banker you specifically do not want to see. I can't stand when notifications go off on my phone. Let me turn my volume down. You're going to tell the banker you specifically do not want to see this savings account when you go on your phone. See, this is what we used to. We used to go on our phone, looking at our checking account, seeing what we got, seeing where we spent, what we spent. You know what I mean? But this savings account, you're going to tell the banker, I want you to hide it. So when I go on my phone or on a computer and I go online, I do not want to see this savings account. It's a secret. It's a secret from you. From you. Okay? But you tell the banker, every time your job deposits your check into your checking account, you want to automatically authorize the financial institution to take a certain amount of money out of your checking account and deposit it into this secret savings account. Now, with this secret savings account, like I said, you can't see it on your phone. You don't have a debit card for it. There's no debit card. Make sure you tell them no debit card. But you know that this savings account exists because every time your check is deposited into your checking account, a certain amount is going to be sent over to that savings account. And here's what I recommend that you send over to the savings account. Something small. Something very small. What you consider small. Everybody has their opinions on what big is and what small is. So whatever your opinion of small, that's what you deposit into that secret savings. And let me tell you, it's gotta be something that you're not gonna miss. If you're saying, oh, that's a great idea, Libs, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna tell them to put $400 every time I get paid. I need them to put $300 or $400 over it. No, that might be too much. You know why? Because as you live in your life, as you always do, you might find yourself needing to go visit that $300 or $400 because you done came up short on something, or you don't have enough money to go out. You don't have enough money to do the things that you like to do with your paycheck. So you want to deposit something over to the secret savings that you're not going to miss. Something like $25 to $50. It all depends on how much money you make. When I started mine with $100. Every time you get paid, you don't have to call them. You tell them to automatically do it. Because if you got to do it yourself, then you might not have the discipline to do it every time you get paid. You might forget to do it when you get paid. You might be going through some things and you just saying, I'm not going to send no money over there this time. You're not going to grow that way. So you want them to automatically move that money over to your savings account. Let's just say if you did $50. Sometimes when we get paid, we blow $50 in 1 hour after we get off work. You got paid today, in 1 hour you could blow $50. You drive to the gas station, you put $30 or $40 in your gas tank, that's 30 or 40 right there. And because you got paid today, for some reason, you feel like treating yourself to something to eat. So you might go to Ruby Tuesdays. Normally, you pack a food to work and you ate at work and you straight, or you going home, you cooking dinner, or, you know, and you straight. But because you got paid, somehow you feel like treating yourself. And that's normal. A lot of us do it. So think about how easily $50 can just blow away as soon as you get paid. So you want to do something like that, something that's small, something that you're not going to miss. You don't want to have something go over there that you're going to be thinking about. This payment is out of sight, out of mind. I'm stressing this the way that I'm stressing it because it's very important. If you do not do it in this fashion, you're going to find yourself over there messing with your emergency fund money. So you got to do an amount that you think you're not going to miss. Let's do the math. I got my calculator because I'm not a genius. I'm going to get my calculator, right? Let's say you get paid every 2 weeks. So you're pretty much saving $100 a month. I know that's not a lot of money, but you got to keep in mind that this has nothing to do with your savings account, with your regular savings account that you have with your checking. Remember when you came to the bank and you got a checking and a savings? This has nothing to do with that. So if you want to save $300 or $400, do it over there in your other savings account. But this particular secret savings account, you only want to do an amount that you're not going to miss, like $50, $50 to $100. It all depends on how much money you make and how much you have going out and what you can afford to put over there. Think about that. Because I'm going to tell you, if you do it, you're going to be glad you did it. Now, God forbid you get into a jam. We all hoping that we're responsible enough to where whenever we get into a jam, we can get ourselves out of the jam because we're doing the right things with our money and we don't have to beg and borrow from anyone, and we don't have to go to a bank and ask for a loan. That's the same thing as begging and borrowing. Just because you get it from a bank don't mean you're not begging and borrowing. The same way you call your loved ones up or your friends up and ask them, could you borrow something? It's the same thing as when you go to a bank. You just don't know them personally. You're still asking for a favor, asking for a loan. So don't ever look down on nobody else for asking for a loan because you don't call people and ask for a loan. You know what you do? You go to your bank and you ask them for a loan. You're no better than the person that's calling people on the phone asking for a loan. You're just more knowledgeable about resources on how to get money. That's all that is. Now just imagine if you saving $50 a pay period and you get paid twice a month, that's $1,200 a year. $1,200 a year? That ain't much. Well, it's some people who get an income tax check every year for $1,200 or more or less. Okay, so consider that $1,200 as something. Remember I told you a half loaf of bread is better than no bread at all? Remember I told you about how 20 nickels equal $1, how 10 dimes equal $1, 100 pennies equal $1? This money is valuable. These is not crumbs, and this is money that you worked for. So it has value. And the best part about it is you're not even thinking about it. You're going to get to a point where you lost count. You see? When you first start this secret savings, you're going to be like, yeah, I started something today. I started my secret savings and I got $200 in there right now because you remember. But if you're doing the right things in your life, you're gonna never need what's over there because you're saving an amount that you're not gonna miss. So you're never gonna need what's over there because you're doing pretty good with what's left over. And you're gonna forget where you're at. You're gonna lose count. And one day, God forbid you need it, but one day you might need some money. And you're going to remember that you got an emergency fund account that your boy Libs from Let's Talk About It told you how to set up. And you're going to wind up having, let's say you're doing so well that in 5 years has gone by. Now you got to understand it's easy to forget that you have this account because you're not putting the money in there yourself. If you got to call the bank and tell them to do it, it might not happen. If you got to pull your car up to the bank and go deposit it, it might not happen. But the bank is not going to forget. They set those computers up automatically to do what you told it to do. So every time your check gets deposited, they're going to move $50 over to your savings account, your secret savings account that you have no access to, no debit card. When you go on your phone, you can't see it. So you're definitely going to forget about it. And in 1 year, you're going to have $1,200 over there that you're not even thinking about. Next thing you know, 5 years has gone by. You got $6,000 that you wasn't even thinking about. In 10 years, you got $12,000 sitting over there that you wasn't even thinking about. And guess what? Your son or your daughter is 10 years old when you started this account. 10 years go by, they're 20 years old. They're out of high school, ready to go into college. You got $12,000 sitting over there in that account that you never needed, that you could just use to pay for tuition. Now, I know everybody, when their kids get older, you know, they want to send them to college. They want to buy them their first car. So they be on the grind. Like, I'm grinding up this money. If you do this, you ain't even got to do too much grinding. Your money's been over there from that little $50 that you've been saving every time you got paid. Then accumulated $12,000. That's your kid's first car money right there. At least the down payment. You know what I'm saying? That's $12,000 towards the tuition. Just imagine if you would have known about this when your kid was first born. Let's say your kid was 1 year old. 1 year old. And you already knew about this thing right here. And you said to yourself, I'm going to start this secret savings for my kid. And when my kid gets 18 and graduate high school, I'm going to give it to him. So let's say your kid is 1 year old and you started this. That's 17 years of you saving $100 a month. So that's $1,200 a month times 17. When your kid graduate high school, and you're going to be so proud of that. Your kid is going to want a car. He or she got their license. You're going to be able to give them $20,400 that you got sitting over there in that account that you forgot about, that you wasn't even thinking about. I'm sure you could think of 25 to 30 more things that you could do with the money that you could accumulate from a secret savings account. Basically, it's an emergency fund. So you want to use it for an emergency. If you lose your job, you know what I'm saying? You got some backup money over there to hold you over until you can get on your feet again. If something happens, you had to get the roof fixed on your house, you know, that's an emergency. You go over there to that secret savings and you pull that money out and you get your roof fixed and you start it all over again. Anything. If you're a guy and you're fixing to get married and your fiance wants to have a really nice wedding and you don't seem to have all the funds to make that happen, you go into that secret savings account. That's an emergency. That's an emergency. Marriage is an emergency. There's all types of emergencies out here that you can acquire where you'll be thankful that you had that money. Those little crumbs that you've been saving up, been turning into dollars. Them dollars been turning into hundreds. And them hundreds been turning into thousands. That's what I got for y'all, man. I hope this helps somebody. It's your guy Lebs from Let's Talk About It. Drop it in the comments, you know what I'm saying? If you appreciate this plan, if you think that it's a good plan, then apply it and make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to add on to this plan, like making investments with that money, that's a whole nother issue right there. I was just making this video for somebody that's on ground level, just starting out, trying to find their way, trying to make a better way, this is a great start. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.